So today I want to go over a pretty interesting side quest in Starfield that will unlock you a full legendary spacesuit and your own legendary ship. Now, just a small disclaimer, because of how the randomization in Starfield works, this may be a little bit different in your playthrough, but this does seem to be one of the quests that is kind of set in stone. So let me take you on a little journey, because for me, this started at an abandoned mine taken over by spacers on Mars. As I'm clearing through this mine, one of the spacers drops a note that talks about a secret outpost or secret laboratory on some other planet. And this starts the initial steps of this quest line. So it wants me to read the note, and then you get the information of where this secret outpost is located. And this outpost is located on Denbola 1B, and it seems to be set in stone. If you find this note, it seems like you'll always go to the same place. It'll always be located at the same place. Now, I found this note on these spacers in this mine on Mars, but it seems like any spacer in the game has a chance to drop this note. I've seen some other people getting this note from completely other places in the game. So basically just find spacers, start killing them until you get this note. So once you land on this planet and go to the secret outpost, it'll be infested with spacers. But once you actually enter the outpost, you will be greeted with a title screen telling you you're now in the lair of the Mantis. And this entire lair is infested with more traps, robots, and tons of spacers. And there is also a small little story unfolding through the voice recording that you can pick up throughout this lair. It's decently interesting, but it is a pretty simple story, and I don't want to spoil all of that, so I'm going to try to keep this guide away from the story elements of the quest. So you're just going to make your way through the entirety of this layer. Then once you get to the end, you're going to find a friendly NPC that is not trying to kill you. You can either talk to them or kill them, but the room that's right behind them is this caged up room with a ton of auto turrets at the end. And then on the ground, there's going to be rows of these pressure plates that all have a letter on them. And you're going to need to find the correct path through these different letters to get past the turrets to get to the end of this layer and claim your rewards. Now, you do actually get the answer of what the code is throughout the story, but that answer is Tyrannus. So Tyrannnis. So you're going to have to spell that out with the pressure plates on the floor. If you do it incorrectly at all, the auto turrets will just basically instantly kill you. And I would very much recommend you save a lot when going through this layer, especially when you get to this part. So after you spell out Tyrannus on the floor, get past the auto turrets, you're going to continue going through the layer. Now, you are going to come across some additional turrets on the ceilings. You're going to have to destroy those. And then you're also going to come across some robots. The robots seem to be really strong. They deal a lot of damage, so be careful. Make sure to save a lot. Now, after you've destroyed all of the robots, you will enter this massive room. And this is the actual layer of the Mantis. And something you'll notice is there is a pretty sick looking ship in this area. But before you go up and go to that ship, make sure to explore the entirety of this area. There's tons of loot around, and once you get in here, I think if you go in and make a left, there will be a mannequin in a glass enclosing. Open that up, and that will give you a full legendary spacesuit, which is the Mantis spacesuit. So it'll give you a helmet, a spacesuit, and a booster pack, all legendary with pretty decent stats, and it looks really unique. So after you've looted up your legendary spacesuit and you've looted up everything in this area, there's going to be a button to the left of that big spaceship, and that's going to raise up the spaceship to surface level. Then you're going to go and either teleport outside or just exit the layer in another way. And once you get back up top, that spaceship, the Mantis spaceship, is waiting for you. And you get to go claim this spaceship, and this is not a higher class of spaceship, so you can fly it right away. No matter how early on in the game you are, you can go fly it. And once you take ownership, it's going to be called the Razor Leaf, and this is multiple times better than the Frontier, which is your starting ship. It's a really good spaceship, and the interior is really cool, especially when you go up to the second level. There's a ladder there you can climb up. There's a room with just tons of weapon cases and spacesuit stands where you can store all of your weapons. There's a bunch of these wall mounts where you can hang up all of your weapons on to look cool. You can hang up spacesuits and helmets and backpacks all throughout the room, and it's basically just just this really cool armory. Now there's a few other really cool things about this ship, one of them being the reason I'm personally calling this a legendary ship. First off being that this is basically a smuggler ship. The Mantis was a smuggler. You'll kind of learn more about that as you go through the story and listen to those recordings throughout the layer, but this ship does come with some shielded cargo, which if you don't know what that is for smuggling. So if you find smuggling items and you're trying to go land on a planet and sell them or something, this ship already has the modules to shield some of that cargo. It is a smuggler ship, so it makes complete sense. This is stuff that would not be easy to get otherwise this early into the game. And besides the ship itself being really good, having much more upgraded shielding and weaponry and grav drives, the main reason I call this a legendary ship is because sometimes spacers will randomly attack you when flying around in space, just like would normally happen with any of your other ships. But once they realize you're flying the Mantis, they get very scared over the comms and all of the spacer ships jump away. They understand what ship this is and they run away instead of attacking it. So that's the main reason I call this a legendary ship, even though nowhere in game is it like labeled legendary, but this ship legitimately has a pretty cool story behind it, and it legitimately has some functionality with these spacers not actually attacking you out in space. They just jump away once they realize what you're flying. But that's the entirety of this side quest. You can get this very early on, and it seems to be pretty easy to get the note that tells you where this location is at. Go through the quest, go through the layer, get yourself a full legendary spacesuit, and get yourself this legendary spaceship. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.